Hi, I'm Dr. Kathy Gosser, and today I'm here at Signarama, and we're going to have a great discussion with Maggie Harlow, who is the franchisee of Signarama Downtown, as well as a local star in the community. Hey, Maggie, I'm so excited to be here with you today. Thanks for being our first guest.
I'm so excited that you asked me, Kathleen. I'm thrilled. Thank you for including me.
So first of all, what's going on in Signarama these days? How's life here?
Signarama is good. Signarama is really good. We, as a brand here in Louisville, there are 4 locations. Our location's downtown, but there are 4 locations, and they're all thriving. So it's been really fun over the years. I've been in this business now 22 years.
Well, let's talk about Signarama and how you got here. So first of all, early in your career, you worked for another entrepreneur, your father. So you want to start with telling us a little bit about that?
Yeah.
How that led you to Signarama?
So my parents had a family business. It was a car dealership. So again, a franchise. We were a Buick and Jaguar franchise. And I grew up as a kid working there part-time. Didn't like it, but it was a job. And then when I went off to college, I studied oil painting. So I have a degree in oil painting.
Wow. That's
I call
new.
it my degree in unemployment. And I came home and my parents said, "What are your plans?" And I said, "I don't know." And my dad said, "Well, why don't you come work for me? I'll give you something really interesting, though. I'll give you something juicy. But you have to commit 2 years, because if I'm going to train you and invest in you, I need at least 2 years." I ended up staying for about 12 years. So we had a great time together. We became very close. He taught me everything about the business. He taught me about how his mind works. He brought me in to the background to understand all the decision making. So it was fun to work with him from that side. I love strategy. I love talking about those things. So when he was ready to retire, he said, "Do you want to buy the company?" And I really thought about it, and I thought, well, the mom and pop dealership is going away. And so it's probably not a good thing for me to continue this little mom and pop store. And I want him to retire. I don't want him to be waiting on a buyout from me. So we sold it, and I went to work for the new owners. But I realized just within a few months that I was really ready to own the company. And so that's when I decided I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to find a business. And we started looking at franchising, because I thought, well, I got to learn a new industry. I got to learn a new business. So we looked at a bunch of franchises, dog wash, framing shop, all these things. And my husband was like, no. And then we found Signarama and the sign business. And he was like, that's it. That's a good fit.
Now, isn't that interesting? But why a franchise model versus you grew up with he did have sort of a franchise, the entrepreneur, but why did you choose the franchise model versus being your own entrepreneur?
2 important reasons. First of all, I really wanted someone to teach me an industry. I didn't want to go in and kind of figure it out on my own and I didn't like the idea of buying an existing business, because I kind of knew, well, I'm going to inherit a lot of things that I may not like. But if I buy a franchise, I can start fresh. But the other important thing to me was the sense of a team, that I loved the idea that I'm not alone. It's my business. I'm the captain of my ship, but I'm surrounded by a fleet of ships and all these other captains who are going to have good ideas and who can teach me things and who I can be measured against. Like, how am I doing? That was really important to me.
That is the beauty of franchising, is that you do have others to rely on. You have a support system. But one of the things that people have asked me, especially my students ask me, is how much creativity do you actually have? Do you have to follow the script perfectly, or do you have some freedom within that framework?
It depends on the franchise. And it's an important differentiation, because in the automotive business I grew up in, they hand you a product. They hand you a car, whether it's getting good reviews or bad reviews. This is the car you're selling, and you're going to sell it in a showroom we approve, in a location we approve. And, all the things that an automotive franchise has is baked in, and you're going to live on their terms. They even have access to your bank account. So if they're going to ship you a display for your showroom, they're just going to pluck the money out of your account.
Wow.
So it's a very different model than something like Signarama. Now, in the Signarama franchise, we're all selling signs, but there's a ton of freedom. There's a ton of freedom to focus on the products you want to focus on, to buy the equipment you want to buy, to focus on the types of business you want to do, the types of clients you want to sell to. There is no requirement that you sell a certain product or you sell to a certain customer. So I liked that freedom of that entrepreneurial angle. And Ray Titus the founder of Signarama, that really is his philosophy, is he really focuses on local entrepreneurship, build what you want to see happen.
Which is a little unique in franchising. The fact you can buy materials and buy equipment that works for you. And I know you've told me in the past about you have weekly calls with other franchisees that help you. Talk about that support you get from your fellow franchisees.
The franchisee support is the more critical support than the franchise support. The franchise support has been wonderful, especially in the start. But this franchise in particular really encourages the franchisees to turn to each other and learn from each other, because Signarama franchise corporate, they're good at selling franchises.
Yeah.
They don't sell signs. They don't know how to tell me how to sell a sign. So we really rely on each other. So yes, we have daily texts, weekly calls, monthly. We have these things called P3 groups where the franchisees get together and share their financials with each other and get better that way, sharpen their blade.
That's excellent. Maggie, you have taught us so much today, and you've told us about your business, all of your business secrets, and you're so generous with your time with the community, with students. Thank you so much for being our first guest at Franchise U in the 502.
I'm so proud. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to be with you, Kathleen.
Always a pleasure to be with you.